Hi guys. Firstly, apologies. I got a little bit tied up. It's nap time for kids, so it takes a little while to get them down. They're still not down. But we've got to start, so the show's got to get on the road. And today we are talking about how to homeschool for preschool. Very simply. As you know, I've got two kids who, my second is now just about getting ready to go to nursery. She would have started nursery in April this month, but unfortunately, the world has decided to shut its doors to anything. So, yeah, we suddenly find ourselves in a wonderful place where we have a nursery going child who is now stuck at home with us and literally just climbing up walls. She's got so much energy. So, a while ago, after nurseries closed, we got sent through a few emails with all the different links, useful resources that you can find online, different websites to visit and stuff like that. And the nursery said, well, have a look at these sites. They will help you to figure out things that you can do with your kids. And whilst that is great, because it's a wealth of information, it's resources that are absolutely brilliant, the reality was, it was literally, we were told that nursery was going to end like at the end of that week. And I not only had one more half day in nursery, and then after that, that was it. So in terms of preparedness, which is something that I love personally, I didn't feel I had very much time to prepare. All of a sudden, I suddenly had all of this responsibility, to deal with this child. And I was completely unprepared. I mean, I haven't gone to nursery nurses school for years and years and years, got qualifications or whatever. The way that we tended to be was basically because the nursery that she's at is so good. They do everything. In the beginning, I used to worry, blah, 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 maybe I should do some more stuff to engage her. We should go out and explore different things on her days off from nursery, yada, yada, yada. But you'd go into nursery, they're telling you they're doing all of these things. And each and every hour was just organized. And even when there was free play, it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Everything was just brilliant. And they're so well educated there. They really have a focus on education. So as time went by, I got kind of lazy and I stopped trying so much because I was like, you know what, they've got it sorted. On the days that she's at home, we'll go shopping because shopping needs to be done. We'll go out into town and do town stuff. We'll sort of, chill out and not do a lot because you know that your bases are covered. With nursery, we don't have that anymore. Basically, we are the nursery. So all of that hard work and planning that they used to do, we've got to do it now. So it's hard work. But my mind being my mind, I dedicated a few days, now stroke weeks, I'm still discovering, dedicated time just trying to figure out, well, are there any common strains in all of these different websites and their recommendations? Are there things that they're telling us to do generally that we should maybe be paying attention to? I'm very good at deconstructing things. So I came up with a few things. Believe me, there's hope. So don't try and homeschool. Don't desperately try and homeschool your kindergarten kid or preschool, whatever you call it, wherever you are, until you give some kind of thought to the things I'm about to show you today. This is magical. This is absolutely brilliant. And it's a brilliant little anagram as well. So trust me, you're going to love this. Right, so can you see that? Brilliant. I came up with a brilliant anagram. I mean, this is genius. Even I'm just like, you're amazing. And it's catchy. It's catchy. Watch this. So it is PROSE. You can tell I'm not a teacher. I mean, the E squashed over there. But that's okay. PROSE doctors. Yeah? Abbreviated doctors. Can you see that okay? Yeah, it's coming up. PROSE doctors feed. They could feed the mind, they could feed your imagination, but PROSE doctors feed. And I thought, that's brilliant. You're not going to be able to forget that. Like, seriously, you're not going to be able to forget that because it's brilliant. It works. Now, PROSE doctors feed, the way that I imagine you can use it, the way that I started to implement it into my day is basically with every single day, my relative MO was, I sort of basically wake up and go, oh, I've got to do something with these kids. And it usually just ended up being stuff like, oh, we're painting. Or if we're not painting, because I know loves water, just fling, some water sensory play at her. And yeah, do something with water or something with dirt. And that would be it. And every single day, just by virtue of default, we would have to go outside. So we ended up with drawing, going outside, and sensory play, which was either water or sand. And those were the three things that we just, would regularly be doing. And after about 3 days, that got really old for her. She got so frustrated. You could tell the child was desperate for some kind of stimulation. So I then had to go and really look at the resources that nursery had sent us. And I came up with some brilliant things. Now, obviously, I don't have space to write it, but so we're going to go through it. P, the first one, is for pretend play. Now, depending on what age your child is, they'll be quite happy to do pretend play or just minimally engage with it. But I'm finding now with Anna, who's now 2, she's becoming more and more interested in pretend play. She's really getting into the different characters and the different scenarios that you put together. And you don't even need like sophisticated, a whole, branded costuming thing. You can basically just have, oh, look, here's a piece of chalk. This is the mummy chalk. Oh, look, and this is this is the mummy chalk if we're going to be, old school. Mummy chalk, and this is the daddy chalk. And she'll say something like, oh, the big daddy chalk. And you go, oh, yes, big daddy chalk goes walk, walk, walk. Come on, mummy, let's go for a walk. And off they go, toddle, toddle, toddle. So you start to do, pretend play. She'll bring in another chalk and you go, oh, this is the Anno chalk. Mummy and Daddy and Anno are walking down the road. We're going to do, and you just have so much fun with it. It's great. It's brilliant. One guy who's like, how old is she now? 7 months? Going on to 8? She doesn't get it yet. But, pretend play is a great thing for, I'd imagine, just coming up to 2 and beyond. And the older they are, the more sophisticated it becomes. The older they are, they start to play with smaller things and they can really, really get into pretend play. So pretend play is the first thing, and you can be as diverse, versatile. You don't even need toys. You just need imagination. You can be as wild with the imagination as you possibly can be. You can create your own toys. It is brilliant. It's absolutely amazing. So I like that. And then we have R, which is reading. Now, we're all different in terms of how much reading we can actually tolerate, how much we can stomach. But I would seriously recommend that where possible, you try and do some sort of reading. Because besides the fact that it keeps them in one place for a little bit of time, it's stimulating their brain. It's helping them to, become more imaginative and creative. You're giving them more words when you're reading to them. Sometimes they can repeat to you. The older that they get, from what I've been aware of with nieces and nephews, they start to be able to read back to you. So then you can help them learn how to read as well. So it's like a sliding scale. So where we are at right now is basically, I'm still just reading to the girls because both of them can't really read. Anna's just starting to identify letters, but we're not at the point that she can read to me. But, we can spend time just reading. And within reading, you can learn about the world. You can learn about your characters. You can learn about loads of different things. You can open up new worlds, basically. And especially if you're stuck at home, like if you're really like actually physically in the house, more hours than you would rather be with kids. If you're stuck at home, reading opens up another world where the child can escape for a little bit. And they forget about, well, this is this awful situation that we're in, and all I want to do is just run around, and scream and yell and all the rest of it. And you can make it a fun thing. You can either, sort of set a time for it. Now, what I didn't say in the beginning is basically the reason I'm giving you this PROSE DRS FEED. You don't have to do this every single day, all day, every single thing. What we tend to do is we tend to be responsive. So with kids, you let them play, so they can play for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour or 2. So you don't say half an hour. You don't dictate it. You basically start playing with something. You have an idea of things you'd like to do in the day. And when they get tired of something, then you can move on to something else. But because it's so versatile, it's unbelievable. I mean, you seriously can't go wrong. So number 1 was pretend play. Number 2 is reading. So you can read to them. You can encourage them to start to read to you, or you can read together. So while they're learning, you can also be telling them, getting them to trace the letters and stuff like that. So you can adapt it to whatever stage your child's at. So that's number 2, which is reading. The third one, if you're able to, it's all different wherever we are at the moment. But, if you're able to, if you have the permission from wherever you're living to be able to go outside, go outside. Go outside is just, and now as well in the UK, we're heading into spring. We have had a beautiful day today, which is why, we're like in chilled out mode here. I've had a brilliant morning with the girls. It was supposed to be 10 degrees Celsius. It was 18 and nice and warm in the sun. So it was beautiful. So we had a brilliant little morning outside. While we were out there, we did loads of other things from our list. We played with the football. We also went and played with the doll's house. We went and we hunted for little things in the sand. What can we possibly find in between the grass? We found daisies. We found a slug, which I wasn't very happy about. But, what are the different things that you can find all around, in your own back garden? So all of these different things you then manage to incorporate when you're outside. And remember as well with children, which is, when we get to one of the S's, okay, it's actually the next one. The next one is sensory. But with children, when you're outside, it is a minefield of sensory activities. Don't just go, oh, we're outside, we're walking around outside, we're walking around the park. Okay, you're in the park. You can sit down. You can touch the grass. What does that feel like? Is that rough? Is that soft? You can then start to use different language to explain things. I'm on the grass. The grass is wet. Oh, it's making my clothes wet. Oh, look, can we roll around in the grass? Oh, we're rolling around in the grass. If you're not wearing trousers, it's probably going to be itchy. So you go, oh, that's a little bit itchy. Oh, the grass on my legs. So try to be as descriptive as possible. Try and think about it in terms of a person who has never experienced it. And when you start from that point, you're onto a winner because, for kids, a lot of these experiences will feel like the first time for loads of different times. Even now, I'm starting to notice that there are things that Anna is now picking up on when we go out, and she'll ask certain things that she never really used to bother about before. I'm trying to think of an example, a clear example. But, things like colors, because now we're learning about colors. So when we go out, she'll start to ask, grass, green, green, green. And I say, yes, it's green. Sky, blue. And we go, yes, it's blue. And then she'll point to something and she doesn't understand. Then we use all the different descriptive words around that. So never take it for granted that when you go outside, it's going to be same old, same old. You go outside and there's like a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. Small little things. You can even pick up a twig and go, this twig comes from a tree. And then you can start a whole exploration about what are trees and look at the things that you see. Sometimes you see the roots sticking out. If it's a particularly big tree, sometimes the roots stick out of the ground. And then you say, oh, wow, you see the tree up there, but actually there's roots down there. Let's go and feel the roots. So go out, have fun. If you have a small park that you can get to, go and do that there. If you live in a concrete jungle and you walk around, then, sort of talk about the tar, talk about the roads, the cars do this, and when people are walking, I wonder where they're going. Is that a mummy or is that a daddy? Oh, look, someone is walking a dog. What's the sound that the dog makes? Woof, woof. Explore. Be as creative and colorful as you can be, basically. So the next one is O, which is outdoors. The next one after O is S. So S is for sensory. Now, sensory, you're thinking about your 5 different senses, things that can stimulate all of your 5 senses. Quite simply. I was great because I used to just do sensory play with the kids anyway. So, sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of hearing, sight, and taste. So all the different senses, how can we stimulate them as much as possible? Now, bear in mind that you don't have to say, I am picking this particular one from PROSE DRS FEED, and that is the one that I will stick with. One thing can have loads of different things that it encompasses. So when you're doing sensory play, my favorite types of sensory play, as you have probably picked up if you haven't, are things to do with water play, because it's easy. You obviously have to do a bit of cleaning up afterwards. Usually if you do it inside the house, the whole floor just looks like an absolute sea. So it's a bit exciting. And also if you do anything with sand, even if you're doing, I don't know if you've watched my video, the Montessori one, where we did moon sand. Even if you do that moon sand stuff, that stuff is just still hard to get clean, to get out of stuff. It's not as hard as proper sand, but it is still just a nightmare. So the 2 things that I loved with things to do with water play. Again, this is tactile, sense of touch, and your sand play. Unfortunately, with sand play, it's also sense of taste, because Anna still has this thing that she has to eat everything. So that's always very exciting. But, then you can do things about, sort of going out and experiencing smells. So if you wanted to, this is a really fun thing that I've always wanted to do, and I've just never really got around to because I'm not very organized. But this is a really fun thing that I've wanted to do when it comes to sense of smell, to have smell pots. So you can have little containers that have different things inside them. And they can be things that are like, say garlic, because that's got a quite strong, definite scent. You can have onion in another one. You can have some lavender drops if you have a lavender type perfume, or you can have a different type of perfume in there. Just put different things with different smells in different pots, and then get the child to open them up and smell. And then you tell them, oh, and that's this, and this is how this smells, blah, blah, blah. If it's stuff that they can taste, then they can also taste it. If it's, what's a really pungent sort of fruit? I suppose peaches, if you get peaches, or fruits like that, or strawberries are very quite pungent, aren't they? They're not pungent, they have a lovely smell. Sorry, English is a second language here. But, things like that, so they can smell it, and you can describe what it is. You can say, well, oh, look, now we have a strawberry. That smells yummy. It smells sweet. Wow, strawberries are red. Red strawberry. What a yummy strawberry. Do you want to taste it? And then the child can taste it, and you can taste it, and ooh, yummy. Oh, look, it's got water. Oh, strawberries have lots and lots of water, don't they? But they're very yummy. What can we make with our strawberries? Can we make a fruit salad? And then you can then move it on to discovery, which is another thing we have, and then you can make a fruit salad together. So you see where I'm going with this. You start with one thing, and then you can spend as much time around it as you possibly can. Because remember that kids, especially kindergarten and below, everything is, a tactile experience. They need to feel, and they need to understand, what is this thing and how does it work in relation to this? And they need to be signposted, basically, to where things are. So the more creative you can be, the more you can break it down in your own mind, because you take it for granted as a grown-up that this is the way that this thing should be. You already know it because you've explored it 1,000,001 times, and now it's just like, well, this is how it is. But for a kid, it's not, so you have to really sort of break it down and make it exciting for them. So where were we? We're at sensory. And then the next thing is exercise. I can't remember what I was reading, and I absolutely fainted when I read that, because it says something to the effect of grown-ups need about an hour of activity a day, and kids need about 4. So I guess I got to do something now. That's why I decided, you know what, I'm not actually doing enough for this child. So activity doesn't mean, they're vigorously running around all day long for 4 hours or whatever. It basically is just keep them moving, keep them engaged. It keeps, your body parts all supple, it keeps you quite active and energetic. They'll sleep better, they'll tire out better, which ultimately, if you've got kids and they're full of energy, that's what you actually want. You don't want them bouncing off walls because they've got too much energy at 9 p.m. at night. So if you can do stuff that keeps them active, doing stuff, then, that's great. So that's exercise. So you can do what a lot of people are doing right now. They're doing that. Am I allowed to say people's names? I don't care. They're doing that Joe Weeks thing every single morning. I tried that with Anna. That was one of the first things that I tried. She just looked at me like I'd gone crazy, like bunny hopping around the room. And it's just like, you can bunny hop. I'm not doing it. Just kind of stood there and just looked at me for like half an hour while I sweated like a heffalump in the front room. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is obviously not working for us. And we tried to do several other toddler-related YouTube videos. We quite liked, there's not enough actually, there's not enough gymnastics things on YouTube. So like all the rolling and stuff, she quite liked that because that was fun because it takes her upside down and she likes all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so exercise. So if you can find stuff around the house that maybe the kids would like. One of my friends does a little obstacle course with her son in the house, which is brilliant. So she just puts little things from around the house and she'll maybe have him like, sort of, what is the English word for that? What's a slalom? I can't remember. But she'll have him going left to right and, like a car, the way they used to do car tests, driving tests back in the past. way back. So she'll have him doing all of that. She'll have him doing push-ups and everything. And then they'll do a yoga, stretching, relaxation afterwards together. If your child is there, do it. If your child is like into Joe Wicks, by all means do it. But also participate. You as a grown-up should also get involved with some of this stuff because it makes it more fun. And, you know, while it might look ridiculous in your mind, the kid's having fun, you're having fun. So, you know, yeah, you're bonding as a family then. And so exercise is something that should definitely be on the menu every single day. Again, you're going to notice how it ties in. If you go outside, you can also get your exercise in and you can get it in outside. So if you go out for a long walk, then you've gone for a walk and you've got your outdoors and you've also got your exercise in. This morning, we were doing football outside. And football, I thought she wouldn't really get it because, you know, in the past, all we've done is throw the ball at each other. But I thought today I'm going to be a bit more advanced. We're going to kick that ball and then chase it. And I was telling her, kick the ball and keep kicking and keep kicking. So she was learning a new skill, kick and run, kick and run, kick and run. But she was also exercising. So hopefully that's tired her out for her nap. But, you know, last I heard, she was still very active. So we've done pros and then doctors. D is discovery. Now, discovery can be anything. If you're stuck in the house and you think to yourself, oh, there's nothing I can do with these kids. Oh my God, it's all just too much. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. Don't. Slow down. Think about one thing in the house that you think maybe the child does not understand. You're going to find a lot of things that they don't understand. They don't get it. You can even do something as simple as going into the kitchen, opening a drawer, and explaining to the child the concept of push and pull. Look, if mummy pulls the drawer open, the drawer opens and we can see what's inside it. But if we push it, the drawer closes. And look what happened. Everything has disappeared. But has it really disappeared? Let's open the drawer again. If you open the drawer, everything comes back. So now you've got object permanence going on because everything that was in the drawer, you probably watched the video on my discovery drawer, haven't you? So that was always so much fun when Anna was like seriously younger. That was always so much fun because you pull the drawer open and she's like, like, where did all these things come from? So now you've got discovery. Discovery, you can tailor it to whatever level your child is at. When they're very, very young, I mean, one guy is so super easy because 9 times out of 10, I just fling a lid in that direction and just like, woo! A special lid. And she's chewing away and she's discovering the sensation of the chewing, how soothing it feels on her gums or how tough the texture is. And you don't really even need to explain that much to her. To her, it's a great tactile experience. We walk around rooms in the house. I mean, literally, this is what we do. We walk around the house with one guy, if I'm not sleeping. We just walk around the house and we say what things are that we're looking at. Chair, couch, table. Literally, that is what we do. Window, floor, rug. And for her, that's like, oh my God. That's the beauty of an under 1-year-old. And on the other hand, 2 years old, we can do things like the drawer. So the drawer is always constantly, oh, look, we've opened the drawer. How do you open the drawer? Now she's at a point that she knows how to open drawers herself. So we're explaining how drawers work. If you pull it, that's how the drawer works. Look under here. Have a look. And we know she doesn't really understand it, but it's like it's a learning thing. At some point, she's going to understand what it all means. You know, this drawer sits on these sliding things and it slides across, and that's the way that it opens. If the sliding things went there, it probably wouldn't open. But you try now, you push it, so then she'll push it and then she understands it. So that's a 2-year-old. Say you have like a 4 or 5-year-old or something. Maybe you want to explain, let me find something in the house that I think maybe the kids would appreciate. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So, oh, actually, even in here, the TV. Then you can maybe explain how the TV works. Oh, look, this is the TV. But if mommy turns the TV off, then there's no TV at all. How do you think you turn the TV on? They probably know how to turn the TV on anyway. And then you can discover how to turn up and down the different channels. You can talk about, oh, do you know that TVs come in different sizes? When mummy was a little girl, we had TVs that looked like boxes. A TV that looks like a box? Yes, we had a TV that looked like a box, and sometimes we had a TV that ran on a battery. So now you're talking about all the different weird, wonderful things about TVs and trying to explain it to whatever age old at a level that is appropriate to them. And you use language, of course, that is appropriate to them. So that's discovery. And you can make discovery about anything at all. Even if, say you were trying to plant something. So maybe you have indoor plants and you got them and then you wanted to explain, well, this is how we're going to grow this plant. First of all, we start with the soil. We need the soil because plants need to live inside soil and that's how they grow. And now we're going to pick up the plant, which will have been in water, of course, because before you can transfer into another pot, you have to put it into water. And now we're going to shake it out a little bit. Do you see those things that are dangling from the bottom? Those are called roots. Yes, and that's how a plant grows. It keeps sinking its roots and it's drinking up the soil. You don't see it eating. What do we use to eat? We use our mouths, don't we? So you can say that the roots are this plant's mouth. And that's how it eats. And that's how it takes up everything it needs so it can grow and it can be pretty. Right, we're going to put this plant in this pot. Can you help me? Sensory play. Spread all the dirt aside and then put the plant in there. And then we're going to put some water into it. This is all part of discovery. Break things down. They might to you just seem so obvious and so boring, but to kids, they're amazing. And I can guarantee you one thing. Once you start to do stuff with them, it might embarrass you because in your mind you're like, oh, this is going to be so boring. You might find yourself really getting into it. And when you start getting questions from the child about, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? You actually start to discover how much maybe you know or you don't actually know about something that you've been taking for granted all of these years. So it's a great learning experience for both of you, or all of you, depending on how many people are involved in it. So we said pros and then doctors. So we've done discovery, haven't we? And then the next R, believe it or not, is relaxation, which is very important. I mean, it might seem obvious, but it is very important. Because even in nursery, I remember when I used to come back and she'd be doing all these yoga poses. And I'm like, where did you pick those up from? Because she barely ever sees me exercising because I wake up in the morning to do my exercise. And then I found out that in nursery, they do actually do yoga. So you can make a fun game of it. You can make it like, a mum and me yoga. There's like mum and baby type yoga. I remember I saw that on YouTube, but I never bothered with it because, I never bothered with it. Now I'm bothering with it because it's something to fill up 20 minutes of my day. So you can do relaxation. You can even do things where you have a mini spa break. Oh, honey, we're going to go to the spa today. Again, this is pretend play, make believe. So we're going to the spa today, and now you're going to have a foot massage, and you can act like you're in a spa or a massage place. You go, oh, hello, ma'am. What would you like to have today? Oh, you want to have a foot massage? Okay, that's wonderful. Why don't you sit down? You put a little towel over their little faces. Okay, and we're going to give you a little foot massage. So how's your day been? And you can play around. Seriously, have fun with this. I know it seems cheesy and it seems lame, but, you will actually have fun with this. Or you can give them a little hand massage. Or, which I usually use because I never have time to do her hair, or mine, as you can tell. I use that time as well to be, oh no, you've gone to the hairdressers and this is your hairdresser moment. Now we're going to put on some wonderful music or some wonderful TV. What would you like to watch? And it's always Peppa Pig. What would you like to watch, madam, in today's program? Peppa Pig! Oh, okay, Peppa Pig, George Pig, let's go for it. She sits down, she starts watching Peppa Pig, and you start doing the hair. We're in the hairdressers. We're having fun with it. And they absolutely love it. And it gets stuff done as well. Stuff that you meant to get done anyway. And then the next one is science. Now, science, again, can be incorporated in your discovery, your outdoors type stuff, your sensory type stuff. So it's trying to figure out how the world works, why the world works. Even things like, okay, say for example, this morning we went to play football. Without calling it physics. We were learning, we were sciencing. So you go out and you say, well, okay, right, let's kick a ball. Kids will generally just tend to just kick whichever way. But if you tell them, okay, right, if you kick in that direction, then the ball is going to go there. So already you're now teaching them, sort of, oh God, here goes my English. But when you kick something at a certain angle, it's going to go in a particular direction. So there's that little arc. So you're teaching them that correlation already, and you're getting them to practice it in real time. At some point when they're much older, all of these things will be quantified and will be put into actual equations that, if they are me, I grew up to hate. But you can do science type stuff. You can talk about how the world works. Look, there's a bird in the sky. Oh, look, the bird is flying. If you want to be technical, why do birds fly? Why can't they just walk? How do birds fly? If you can get complicated, if you're that way inclined, go with what works for you. Even things like stacking blocks. It's a learning experience. It's a science experiment, because kids are the world's greatest little scientists. They're constantly asking questions of the world, testing theories out, getting them wrong, and then trying another variable and figuring it out until something makes sense. I mean, some of the combinations that they come up with make no sense in your head, but to them, they are absolutely plausible. They're absolutely, well, why not? Okay, right, well, I'm playing here and I'm playing with water. Why don't I maybe just put my toy car into the water? Let's see what happens. They're not thinking, will it float, will it not float? Is it too big for this container? They're not thinking about all that. They're just putting two things together and seeing if they'll do something. So you can also take that to another level and be kind of sophisticated with it. Oh, we're doing building blocks. We're stacking up the blocks. But if we stack up the small block on the bottom, is going to fall. And you can talk about it as you go along and encourage them to do it and try it out for themselves. Because what you'll tend to find as well, this is the other thing that we have to be very, very careful about as parents, is that when you're playing with the kids, it can become very much, oh, I'm reliving my youth. Because, once you start to get into it, it can be very tempting to just, sort of take over the playtime. But you have to step back and facilitate the play, but also, just be there in case they need you. Let them do as much as they possibly can. Even if they go, Mummy, do it, or Daddy, do it, which, my daughter does a lot. You just say, no, you try it, so that they figure out, say, for example, you're doing jigsaw puzzle. Because, again, jigsaw puzzle, discovery, it's also a little sciencey type thing, and it's also just figuring out how things fit in together. So if they're doing a jigsaw puzzle, and you can, so with jigsaw puzzles, for example, when I'm playing with Anna, I'll do things like, sort of say, right, we've started off, we have one with really big pieces, and it's got farm animals. So you'll say, well, there's piggies in this corner. So we'll say, right, let's start with the outside ones. The outside ones all have red lines. What's a red line look like? This is a red line. So in the beginning, I'll show her, this is a red line. Can you find another thing that looks like this red line? And then she'll look around. In the beginning, she didn't really get it. Now, because we've played it over so many times, and she's then seen what the red line looks like, she'll then automatically, by default, go to the ones with the red lines, and then we'll do the outside, because the outside has a red frame to it, and that helps to guide it. And then when we've done the outside, by saying things like, okay, we have a piggy over here, can you find another one with a red line and a piggy? So it's also teaching children how to follow instructions. And following instructions is going to be very, very important, because when they go to big school, they're going to need to be able to follow instructions from the teacher. And it starts with small, basic things. If you never ask your child to have to do something, they're never going to learn that skill. So you just basically got to say to them, simple instructions. Oh, okay, can you pick this up for me? So all they have to do is just pick it up. They don't need to bring it to you. They just need to identify something and pick it up. But now you can also make it a bit more complicated by, can you pick this up and then do something with it? So that's two parts of a request. And you keep giving them two-part requests. And when you find that they're able to deal with two-part requests easily without really thinking about it, then you can then make it a three-part request. Oh, can you pick that up and give that to me? And let's put it here. So now it's three separate requests, and their brain has to compute those three separate requests in a meaningful way. And that prepares them for when they're in school having to follow multiple requests throughout the day. So that's a little nugget there for you while you're doing your sciencey type stuff. And then so we've got PROSE doctors. So the PROSE doctors are in the house, and now they're about to feed your brain, stimulate your mind. Now this next one, we all do so well. We all do it so well. Freestyle. Freestyle. Just let the child do whatever they want to do. So sometimes it's a very good thing to just allow the child to do whatever they want to do. Sometimes you might have a whole day of freestyling. You don't have to dictate everything that your child is doing. And I didn't miss. No, I didn't. Ah, yes, freestyle, yes. So you don't have to dictate everything that your child does all throughout the day, or even on some days. If they're a kindergarten child, homeschool child, no, preschool child, not homeschool. If they're a preschool child, there has to be imaginative play. There has to be self-exploration. Even though you have all these different structures, you also still want your child to be the individual that they want to be. So even when you're doing all of these different types of play, always try and put them to the forefront. Always try and encourage them to explore for themselves. Don't explore it for them. I mean, you're not going to turn into that parent, I hope, who does all your kids' science homework. It's like, yeah, my kid is the greatest. Look at this 3D model that we built of this entire village. My kid at 7 years old is so amazing. No, don't be that parent. Allow the child to do their things and to do things that maybe to you just look like hodgepodge. But that's them trying to figure out how to take what they're absorbing, make sense of it in their mind, and then translate it in their own way, in their own particular voice as an individual. So freestyle days are just great, because with freestyle days, I literally say, okay, right, we've woken up, we've got our stuff together, let's go downstairs, because downstairs is where the play is. And I won't say we're going into this room or we're going into that room. You just basically come downstairs and you close the stair gate and you're like, oh, yay, we're downstairs. And usually the first thing she'll do is she'll rush up and she'll want to watch Peppa Pig. So we'll sit down and we'll watch some TV. And then after that, I'm like, okay, TV time is done. Let's play. What do you want to do? And she might go off and she might grab a food basket and she wants to play cooking food, or she might want to do blocks. And when you actually leave them to do that, the first few times it's kind of weird for them because they don't have any idea what they should be doing. But after a while, you actually do start to see that they actually regulate. They'll do something for like 20, 30 minutes and then, they'll leave that and then they'll wander off to another thing. The only thing that I ever ask Emma to do is, okay, let's tidy all this up so we have space to play for the next one. So we'll tidy things up and then we'll move on to the next thing. And then she'll go off to this and I'll ask her, oh, what are you doing now? Oh, wow, okay, brilliant. And she'll actually come to you and say to you, drawing, let's draw. So you get her some stuff to draw with and then you sit down and you can do some drawing together. And then maybe she'll pick up a book and say, book, and then you bring the book and you can read the book. So she actually has her own little structures in her mind, which are brilliant. But that's also because A, the nursery was brilliant, and B, Mama was very good at just letting her freestyle. Because in the beginning, I just had no idea. I was just like, okay, you do your thing. This is child-led parenting. You do whatever you want to do, and have fun with it. Whatever you do, it's amazing. It's brilliant. Let's do this. So freestyle. Make time for freestyle. If your child is saturated, just give them time for freestyle. The next one also, freestyle, is education. Now, education is going to be different depending on how old your child is. The closer they get into going to big school, I'm imagining that they will be more focused on actually doing formalized kind of education. Now, what do we do at the moment? I mean, I'm just two. At the moment, we're doing quite a lot of letter recognition. We're doing quite a lot of counting. We're doing quite a lot of colors and shapes. We actually have pasta shapes, which help, which is so sad. But it's a learning experience. Even the pasta shapes are a learning experience. So depending on whatever level that your child is at, you've got to be responsive to that. So, if I have no idea what would happen between the ages of 4 and 5 just before they go to school. But some nurseries do actually have quite formalized education structures. So they might actually have to do their basic maths. They might have to do their basic reading. They might have to do more formalized type of other things, other subjects. So it's allocating a little bit of time every single day to doing that. Even if it's only 10 minutes for each thing, it's 10 minutes that's well invested in your child. And catch them at a good time. If you know your child is best at absorbing things first thing in the morning, then do that first thing in the morning. If you know that they're more focused after they've had their lunch, catch them straight after their lunch. You'll figure out your child's patterns, you'll figure out their affinities, and just stick to that. So at the moment, we're just basically, wherever we can find an opportunity, actually, I tend to just slot in things. Because at the moment, she's repeating numbers quite a lot. And it's about the sequence of the numbers. So we have little songs, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And sometimes we'll pick up 1, 2, 3 off, similar looking things, and then she can count them. Or 1, 2, 3, go! When we're running outside or when we're doing things. But it's just finding loads of different ways to keep repeating the patterns. Because at the moment, it's just about repetition and experimenting. Well, does this come before this, or does this work together? How does this all work? The next one, of course, is entertainment. We all do that really, really well. Peppa Pig is our entertainment. Sad to say. Or it can just be stuff like just sitting down and just talking with mum and dad. What did you do? Oh, you spoke to so-and-so today. We spoke to so-and-so. Was that fun? Oh, let's call Gogo. Let's call Grandma. Entertainment, just things that are just downtime. If you have a child where the structures are more definite, maybe nursery has actually set you a daily structure because they're getting close to school, so maybe they feel that the child would benefit from that. Then, remember as well, wherever the child is, even if they're not in nursery, even if they're higher than nursery and they're already in big school, remember that even in big school, they take breaks. So if you're going to educate your child, maybe make it like a 2.5 hour slot. Give them a little half-hour break, let them go run off any excess energy, come back to another 2 hours, and then, sit down and stop for lunch, depending on, how busy your day has been or what time you wake up. Sit down, slot in lunch, have a little bit of chat, ask them what they've learned in the morning, ask them what they've experienced. At the moment, everyone is just doing this amazing stuff of catching up online. So even like this morning, we caught up with Anna's nursery friends, just, on a different app. I'm not going to advertise any apps because obviously I don't endorse any of them at all. It's just an app that worked, and it's a paid app, so many people will probably not like that. But so we caught up with all her school friends, with her nursery friends, like some of her close friends that she's always talking about. There's another one that we catch up with quite regularly, and we talk to him and his mum and his brothers. And so, just stuff like that, just entertain the child, have a bit of downtime, why so serious, mom? Have a little bit of entertainment time. And then the last one is drawing. So feed is drawing. So the last one is drawing. Let your child explore their creative side. Some kids are going to be better with some of the things on this list than others. Allow your child to experiment with each and every one at some point in your week. You don't have to do all of this every single day. But the reason I put this aside is because that's how my brain works. I have to have a little reference point. Otherwise, I'll just go back to doing the stuff that was easy for me. Let them do tactile play. Let's go outside. Let them do sensory play with water and sand, or we go outside. And that's a very long day, trust me. Because in the afternoon, you're just like, oh, you know what, let's just sit down and just eat chocolate and watch TV because there's nothing else to do. So when they draw, when they're drawing, it can be, as you see here, we have our pot full of chalk. So this is actually a board that Anu uses. It used to be my little board for writing reminders to myself, sort of shopping lists and stuff like that, or things to do on particular days. But now it is just a board for Anu to draw on and sometimes stamp on, and just basically go crazy. And she has discovered, because she has a chalk habit, so she's discovered that if she eats the chalk and then draws with it, it stays for longer, which absolutely drives me crazy, but she does not care. Plus, the chalkboard duster is missing. But anyway, so we use that for drawing. Use different materials as well, because it does actually make a difference in their minds, I think. Because she finds it amazing that chalk looks different on this and it looks different on paper. And she can't really understand quite yet why white chalk doesn't really show up on paper. Because sometimes I'll see her just sort of drawing for ages, trying to figure out, well, why is this not showing up the way that it does on the chalkboard? So stuff like that, just, it stimulates their mind. The older that she gets, she'll be able to use different things. So at the moment, we're using chalk, we're using crayons, which 9 times out of 10 end up in her mouth instead of on the actual paper. Sometimes she actually refuses to take the paper because she knows she's just going to eat the stuff anyway. But sometimes she does actually use them. So if she does use them, it's a good thing. And she's also got, they say, washable markers. That stuff is not washable. All her clothes are stained with it. Even the washable paint is not really that washable. So use all these different textures and materials just so they have a little bit of sensory stuff as well, and just so they learn to experiment. Do you need more pressure when you're writing on a board? Do you need to have softer pressure? Their hands are brilliant because their hands can change. What pressure you apply to something, the dexterity of what you need in order to achieve a certain things. You can shade in things, so that's a different pressure that your hand has to apply. So just challenge all of those different little things with their hands, and you'll see their fine motor skills are just growing with all of these different experiments. And as you get older as well, then you have kids who can then use the pencils, those kind of coloring in implements. They can actually start to sketch and draw. So you've got to encourage all of that by just making the things available to them and encouraging them to just experiment with them. So that's how PROSE doctors will feed your mind and your imagination. We'll go through that again, shall we? So we have pretend play, reading, outdoor activities, sensory, and exercise. We have discovery, relaxation, science, freestyle stuff, education, entertainment, and drawing. Now, with all of those different options, I'm sure you're never going to have another boring day with your kindergarten child again. It's going to be amazing. You're actually going to find that you have too much stuff to do with your kids now. And that is exactly where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be the way that you walk into nursery before and kind of go, oh my God, you guys are doing so much stuff. Ah, you are great. And I don't even need to worry about anything at all. You guys got this. Yeah, just send this one back home. And yeah, we'll just sit and watch TV on her days off all day. So now you are as equipped as the nursery people are. If you think there's more stuff that I've left on this list, because, obviously this is my interpretation of what nursery sent through to us. If you think there's anything else that could go onto this list, please let me know. But at the moment, I'm just doing PROSE Doctors Feed. And sometimes we do 10 minutes of one, sometimes we do an entire day of one. Sometimes you start something and you think, oh, this is just not going to go anywhere. They're just not even going to get it. And before you know it, you've got like 2 kids, one who technically it's not even age appropriate for her, is really getting into it. You should watch on Samura Kids, because that's why I really surprised myself when we did the unboxing of the Duplo thing. Because to me, I was just like, okay, Duplo is a 1.5-year-old child game, 1.5 years plus. And we opened this thing, and one guy was just like, ah! She loved all of these different little things. Because, I know I was busy playing with them, and we were helping each other create all these toys, and then she was going vroom, 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 and then we did the pretend play. And watching her sister play was exciting for her. I mean, all she wanted to do was just eat the stuff. But watching her older sister play with it then made it a family activity, and we were all very, very entertained for a very long time, which was actually really good. And I was petrified because I'm not creative at all. Well, in that sense, I can't put things together. My husband is brilliant. It's like you'll give him blocks, and to me, I'm just like, blocks. Let's build a tower. That's what I always build. Let's build a tower, or let's just build a really solid castle with a big fortress base and put a little thing on top. Yeah, we have a tower. But he'll come up with all these different designs. His brain just works like that. But the Duplo thing worked for people like me because it gave you this blueprint of all these different things you can create. So all you have to do is just look at the stuff and then just recreate. I can do that. Anyone can do that. So it was brilliant. So have fun with it, experiment with it, Don't ever say no to anything. This is like a second childhood for you. Just be really grateful that you've been given children who help you to explore more and relive your childhood. And you can do it and you can really embrace it. And you can say, well, because I'm helping my child to learn. And you can make that your excuse. You will have fun with this. So please do have fun with it. So anyway, this has gone on a lot longer than I actually expected it to. I usually try and allocate half an hour because, being a parent, time is very precious. But of course, because my husband is taking care of business upstairs, he has been up there the entire time, which means that those kids are not going to sleep. Because he's been doing that, I actually have the chance to sit out, chill out, talk to you guys, and catch up. Now, I hope you found this useful. Please comment in the section below. Please give a big thumbs up if you liked this video. And if you want me to make more videos like this, then just comment in the section below. More kid-related videos, please. Or send me a question and I will do my best to respond to that question. Now, tomorrow we're doing another live stream because, as I said before, I'm just going to be doing live streams because at the moment it's really hard to film and then edit and then get things up online. So live streams are working for me right now. But tomorrow we are going to do a it'll be very emotional, it'll be very kind of painful. So tune into tomorrow's live stream where we'll be talking about learning to let your ex go. This is a very emotional thing. And it's a very difficult thing for a lot of people. So we're back on the relationship tip tomorrow. So we're going to be talking about learning to let your ex go. So tune in tomorrow. I will post what time I will be going online in the discussion panel on my channel. So keep an eye on that. First thing in the morning is when I find out what I'm doing that day. So keep an eye and I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. If it's warm, even if you're inside the house, just go next to a window like I did and just sit by the window and enjoy the sunshine. Have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.